Hi, garden rebels. Have you experienced this phenomenon? What I call moments of joy. It happened to me. I want to hear about your moment of joy, by the way. So post it down below in the comments, please. Mine today happened in my garden. I want to share that with you. And while I was there, I thought, there's a little tip to share as well, especially if you happen to have a shade garden. Let's get started. It's just a regular old day. I'm walking through my own garden, really oblivious to all the plants around me. Kind of strange since I'm around plants all day. But this day, a plant stopped me in my tracks. Did I notice the baskets in the trees? No. Did I look to see whether the Corsican mint was taking off around the table? No on that. Did I notice that the crepe myrtles were just beginning to bud out? Yeah, no. Or the boxwood's new flush of growth after I trimmed them was just coming out nicely? Missed it. That the various grasses we planted were really starting to come in nicely? Not that either. What literally stopped me in my tracks was this plant. So what is this plant? It is Melianthus major, and I've talked about this plant before, but I just find it astonishing, beautiful. That foliage is just so incredible. And the way it was growing and the way it sat there and the way it glistened in the sunshine just was unbelievably beautiful. Now, another thing about this is also called an African honey bush, and it has these deep red blooms that maybe I can set a picture of it right here. That is full of nectar-rich nectar. So wonderful for the bees, a delicious meal for the bees. But also, the leaves hold raindrops like diamonds. It's really something astonishing and neat to see as well. But here's a trick on the Melianthus, by the way, is when you buy them, you're gonna buy them much smaller, right? Just in a gallon pot. But to get a little bit more bang for your buck is the first year or two is plant that in your container. It's such a standout plant. Make this the diva of your container, and then plant some other contrasting plants along well with it and use it as a container plant. Then after a year or two, you can transplant it into your garden and let it really go to town. Now, one other thing about this moment of joy is that because this spring I cut it back to just, I want to say about 3 inches off the ground. It had turned brown, it was ugly, it looked dead, and that to have it come back so beautiful is just, it's an astonishing accomplishment. And it came back under my very own eyes. So every day it made a little bit of difference until suddenly it stopped me in my tracks. Also, when you pinch the foliage, it gives a strong scent of peanut butter, which is just crazy. Now, while I was experiencing this moment of joy, I also noticed some hostas. Now, nothing wrong allowing your hostas to bloom and to enjoy those and letting the hummingbirds enjoy those, but as soon as they're finished, cut those stalks back all the way down to the plant. And that allows all of that energy to go back into the plant rather than into the seed pod. Makes your hostas look better next year. By the way, another side helpful hint is if you're going to prune and they happen to be in the sun, is move an umbrella to where you're working. That way you can always be working in the shade. Guys, that's the single tip for the garden this week. Also, make sure you post that moment of joy down below. Always live your passion. I'm interested.